Over the years, our hospitals and courts have witnessed some major public health scandals, tobacco and asbestos being two of the largest and most enduring. Well, right now, a new storm is emerging, and incredibly, the culprit may just be sitting on a shelf in your backyard shed. 4 years ago, the World Health Organization warned that the herbicide glyphosate, the main ingredient in weed killer Roundup, probably causes cancer. Created by chemical giant Monsanto, Roundup is the most widely used weed killer on Earth, sprayed on everything from gardens to footpaths to fields of crops. It is quite simply everywhere. Now, in a series of landmark verdicts, juries in America agree the stuff can kill you. With the legal floodgates open and the first Australian case looming, farmers and gardeners are holding their breath.
It will be a good day, and thank you for joining me. We are here to talk about it all. I got all your calls and all your messages, and I want to thank you for keeping in touch with me. I really appreciate it. There is something absolutely fascinating about seeds. Don't you think so? The seed we plant in our farms, they are very tiny, unassuming, seemingly insignificant, and yet in the right soil, under the right sun, they carry the burden of civilization. But what happens, my friends, when the seed is no longer the seed? When the hand that scatters the seed is not that of the farmers, but that of multinational corporations wearing a white lab coat and a Lego patent. Welcome to the Naija War Room. For the first time, we are hosting the show we can call our own. And today, we will peel back the green veil of genetically modified organisms, GMO. You called it. I promise you, I'm going to talk about it. I'm also going to talk about the acquired colonization of Africa, but more importantly, of my Nigeria. You see, Nigeria is a very beautiful place. For me, it is personal. I know we have our challenges. I know we have our problems. But we are still a great people. It's the only place we can call home. A place that birthed our parents, our mothers, our fathers. The home and grave of our ancestors. Now, I believe you saw the video that was made by my brother, Dr. Egem Bachino. So the public, you all know him as Aproko Doctor. He is one of our own, our brother. He made this video. I want you to take a good look at it.
GMO, genetic modified organisms. I see, in my life, I've never seen a particular topic that caused problem like this topic. One people on one side, another people on one side, they're just having arguments. As a matter of fact, there's nothing you will say about GMO that's going to please anybody, whether for or against. But my job today is to give you the facts on GMO, unaltered. Let's go. If you are here for conspiracy theory, please outside the door. That's not why we're here. We're here to learn. Let's start from G. Genetic. What exactly does it mean? It simply means genes. Genes made up of DNA that send particular codes to give.
And it goes on and on, delivered with such gravitas and eloquence to what some people called an introduction to genetically modified organisms, GMO. Everybody in the country was talking about this video. It went viral. Everybody called me and said, Don Peter, what is going on? Did you see the video of the GMO that we were talking about that was made by a Aproko doctor. I said, what did he say? They said, he said that GMO is safe. I said, no, doctor cannot say that. He should know better. Doctor should know better. They said, take a look. And guess what, my brothers? I took a look of what the video said. I know some of you were satisfied with the explanation, but some of you felt disappointed. And they should. I totally understand. I was somewhere in Tokyo when I saw it, and I watched it with my friends. They were laughing at me. I said, what the heck? They were not laughing out of amusement, no. They were laughing in contempt of what they are feeding us in Nigeria. Genetically modified organisms. That is where we are now. And yes, my brother Dr. Egemba, a man of medicine, Ernest, he is a very passionate man. He understood the assignment, the explainer in chief. He talks about all happenstances in the health and medical things that run around our body. We love him. People like that, we need more of them in our society. And in making this video, I understand. He was trying to calm the villagers down. And I love him. Whenever he provides all this health education, it saves lives. Most of the things he talks about cut across our health and our body. He has done so well for the country. And I give it to him. But in this instance of the GMO, my brother and my dog, you are wrong. The reason is you spoke with so much certainty, perhaps even a touch of pride. You explained how, man, we have been modifying crops for centuries. What our forefathers did. Bananas didn't always look like bananas. Yes. Corn did not look like corn before. Of course. This is nothing new. Everything our forefathers did is nothing new. But that is not what we are talking about here, my brother. And this is where you got it wrong. And I want you to bear with me. Do not see this video as a challenge of who is right or wrong, or as a battle of who will make the most point. I am not interested in any fight. I don't have the energy for it. Please bear with me. And in case anybody wants to fight, no problem. I am the chief of the council of the ancestors. If you want, fight me at your own peril. But my brother also, I am just here to set the record straight. As someone who has been around, and as someone who cares, the difference is that nobody, whether today or tomorrow, nobody born of a woman can buy my soul. It is intact. I am not selling. God made me for a purpose, to be a shining light to his people. The difference between a shepherd tending his flock and a wolf breeding the sheep to bleed slower is intent. In everything, intent is absolutely essential. Intent is everything. You talked about our forefathers. Yes, our forefathers, they practice what is called selective breeding. Selective breeding is a courtship with nature. GMO, on the other hand, is a laboratory seduction, a violent splice, a molecular roulette. We are not talking about farmers trying to save their seeds. We are talking about corporations designing organisms with building contracts resistant only to their own chemicals, bound by law and copyright. Each of these crops going through series of gene sequencing in a lab, chemicalized with all sorts of viruses from different organisms. They are not the same. This is not science, my friend. This is sorcery with a balance of shit. It is what it is. But then I thought about it. What must be the pressure that will make my own brother, the aproko himself, to do this video? I totally understand. You were trying to calm down the nerves of your followers. I saw the tweet. Everybody was urging you to discuss about GMO. Doc, you know why? I will tell you why. Our people are watching the videos online on how the world is getting sick from synthetic food, and they are asking questions. They trust you. It's a badge of honor for you. They were depending on whatever you will say to make up their mind. And that is why I said I will make this video. Otherwise, I would have stayed quiet on this topic. I would have said nothing. Believe me. It will be much, much better for me to recline on the boat off the coast of Monaco drinking oat spirits with my friend who owned empires. But I said no. This one is personal. If this conversation was about international security policy, nuclear weapon system, intelligence operation, ballistic missiles, covert operations, war, talk about it, conflict, just name it, I wouldn't have said a word, because I know that the outcomes of war are already predetermined. The players are more sophisticated than all of us combined. So no need to give myself headache over that. I've been around for a while, my brother, and I have seen things. I have seen nations, communities destroyed, vanished from the face of the earth because good men stayed silent when evil came to town. So whenever the issue is about food security and food safety, considering the consequential impact of it, I don't take it lightly. The deception with the GMO nonsense, I don't take it lightly, because it affects everyone. It affects my people, our people, your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your cousins. It affects our soil, our unborn generations, and to keep silent will be an act of cowardice. It will be contempt on its own. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I will give my own perspective. So pay attention. This will help deepen our collective understanding on the subject matter. When seeds are genetically modified, often using viruses, bacteria, or synthetic chemicals, the changes don't just stay in the lab. These foreign genetic materials, including viral promoters like CAMV35X, can remain active within the plant itself, within the plant's DNA. Remember that the seed has been modified to withstand whatever it is that is going to meet on the outside. So whether it is in the farm or in the field, over time, fragments of these modification agents, they reappear in the harvested crops. And I know you understand why. When the DNAs of these crops, of these seeds are altered, and you plant them, they reappear on the crops when you harvest them. It was not supposed to be like that. They reappear on the harvested crops, which means human beings end up ingesting the remnants of the viral or chemical constructs that were never meant for human consumption. And this is where it becomes a trouble. It poses a significant health concerns, ranging from potential allergenicity and antibiotic resistance to long-term immune or hormonal disruptions, the effects of which we cannot, even up till date, begin to fully understand. There's not a scientific research on the effect of what this mutates when it gets into the human body. Just so you understand. So if the assurances in that video you made was to calm your followers and the millions of people who have seen that video, to calm them down, it may have worked. Except it will not, because it's about to get ugly. I'm going to tell everything about GMO seeds first, so that our people can get a good understanding of what they are battling against. On GMO seeds, I want you to pay attention. Research has shown that most GMO crops are engineered to tolerate herbicides, particularly glyphosate. You will ask, Don Pedro, what is glyphosate? I will tell you. Glyphosate is an active ingredient in Monsanto's herbicides called Roundup. Glyphosate residue have also been detected in our food, in our oats, even in breast milk. It is raising concerns among almost everybody about the low dose exposure in humans. And what happens when glyphosate is in humans? I will tell you again, unexpected allergens. Listen, introducing new genes into the plant may unintentionally produce novel proteins that are allergenic and toxic to the human body system. Number two, lack of long-term human trials. There's no long-term, independent, pay attention, independent, controlled human trial that definitely proves GMOs are 100% safe over the decades. None. There's nothing like that anywhere. If there is, please show me right here on the comment. Some GMO crops are engineered with antibiotic-resistant marker genes. If these genes transfer to human gut bacteria, it may weaken our ability to fight real infections. What that does is it contributes to the growing problem of antibiotic resistance. These are not fairy tales. It is happening in our hospitals, in our communities. What about GMO monocultures? They always replace traditional nutrient-based crops, reducing dietary diversity and micronutrient availability in our local food system. Then soil depletion, pollinator decline, and superweed triggered by herbicide-resistant GMOs, they disrupt our entire ecosystem, which indirectly impacts human food security, air, and listen, even the water we drink. It impacts on our water quality. So on some of the other connected problems of GMO seeds, let me shed a little bit more light so that you can get a full spectrum of understanding on this subject matter. If you know, the better for you. Glyphosate. Everybody, whenever you talk about GMO, people tend to come back to glyphosate. The reason is because it is a silent killer. It is a quiet killer. It is the most secret source in Roundup, Monsanto's flagship herbicide. It is the most secret source. In 2015, the World Health Organization's cancer research arm, the IARC, they classified glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans. Not maybe, not harmless, probably. And doctor, my brother, I know you saw this report too. And I know you are a man of conviction. So when you sat there, composed and assuring, insisting with a straight face that there is no evidence linking GMO or glyphosate-based herbicides to cancer or disease, how noble, how academically tidy, my friend, how patently false you know that information was. But you said it after all. You see, Doc, truth doesn't bend corporate consensus or tidy academic footnotes. It does not. It lingers in the margins, in the sufferings of farmers, in local village families, in unmarked graves, in courtrooms far from the sterile glow of your well-lit panel discussions. But I want to also talk more about the evidence, not conjecture. The evidence, not industry-funded white papers, real evidence on the very negative impact of GMO in the lives of our people. Are you ready? Let's go. In 2012, a team led by Professor Gilles Eric Serrani published a landmark 2-year study on rats that were fed Monsanto genetically modified corn and also exposed to Roundup. You want to know what the results were? Severe organ damage, hormonal disruptions, tumors the size of a tennis ball. The paper was peer-reviewed and published in the Food and Chemical Toxicology. But not until the journal's editor, who had also previously worked for Monsanto, mysteriously retracted it. No fraud, no falsification, just pressure. But the study was later republished again in another scientific journal because the science, no matter how inconvenient, refused to die. Let me move to continents now. Argentina. The farming region that embraced Monsanto's Roundup-ready crops are now home to what locals call Pueblos Fumigados, a poison town. Do you know the cancer rate in that town? 2 to 4 times higher than the national average. It's a disaster. A University of Buenos Aires study linked prenatal glyphosate exposure to birth defects and miscarriages. Birth defects and miscarriages. Does that sound familiar? You see that among our people in Nigeria today, so much birth defects, erectile dysfunction, miscarriages, hormonal imbalance, autism from nowhere, cancer from nowhere. But I suppose those are not good evidence for you. What about Sri Lanka? Doc, what about Sri Lanka? After rising cases of chronic kidney disease among farmers, the government banned glyphosate, citing peer-reviewed studies showing it accumulated in the kidneys when mixed with hard water. A death sentence in disguise. But let me also inform you of the International Agency for Research on Cancer, a branch of the World Health Organization itself. In 2015, classified this same glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen. I suppose the committee of global experts, the toxicologist, epidemiologist, oncologist were all mistaken too. They didn't know what they were doing, Doc. But let's say if the scientific journals and the international agencies are too bothersome, let's turn to the courts, where lies are filtered through cross-examination and sworn testimonies. In 2018, a California jury awarded groundskeeper Dwayne Johnson $289 million after concluding that Roundup, this Roundup you are seeing here, caused his terminal cancer. But that was just the beginning. As we speak today, Monsanto, swallowed by eBay, are facing over 100,000 lawsuits. In 2020, they settled for $10.9 billion with a big fat B. Not because they were guilty, of course not. Just benevolent philanthropy, perhaps. So, my dear doctor, when you say there's no evidence linking GMOs or glyphosate to cancer disease or infertility, what you really mean is that there are no approved evidence that fits inside the narrow box drawn by the corporations who manufactured it. But the truth, the raw, bloody, litigated, and peer-reviewed truth is this. There is not just evidence. There are bodies. There are court judgments. There are scientific findings buried under non-disclosure agreements and quiet settlements. And while you pontificate in televised performance, families and farming villages across Latin America, Southeast Asia, and here at home are burying their dead, victims of war they never knew they were part of. So please, spare us the academic arrogance. It offends my spirit. We are not fools. We read. We pay attention. We remember. We bleed, my brother. And some of us, we speak our mind. Even a meta-analysis from the University of Washington found a 41% increased risk of non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a rare form of cancer among those exposed to glyphosate. I want that to marinate so that you understand 41% increased risk of non-Hodgkin lymphoma among those exposed to glyphosate. Is that a good evidence for you? The soil that once healed our ancestors now bleeds chemical that feed lawsuits. Paying $10 billion on legal settlement is not a philanthropy. These settlements are linked to cancer victims, farmers, landscapers, mothers, children buried under patent pending promises. Do you still feel GMOs are safe, Doc? I'm asking you. But let me take you home, a little bit home, in Nigeria where you live. Do you know that they have just approved the BT cowpea in Nigeria? Our beloved beans is also in trouble. Do you know that the beans you eat today in Nigeria are infused with Bacillus thuringiensis genes? Why? They say it is to resist pests. Of course, for good shelf life. Thank you. For longevity, they said, God bless your soul. A pest that could have been mitigated using crop rotation or intercropping or indigenous knowledge system. But hell no. Our people chose dependency. They chose a Trojan beans. Did they inform you, the Nigerian people, that something like that was going on? Were you consulted? The answer is hell no. Nobody told you that while you were asleep, your government was making deal behind the table. Even our maize, as we speak today, they are all GMOs. Men who knows absolutely nothing about God, nature, or food are making those decisions on our collective behalf. Did anyone tell our farmers that BT genes can escape into native cowpeas through cross-pollination? That in 3 seasons, their cherished seed stalks may become sterile hybrids, owned not by them but by foreign labs? Of course not. No one told them. Because this isn't about pest, it's about patent, it's about control. And whoever controls your seed controls the yield and controls your stomach. And if you control the stomach, of course, you will control the people. When you control the people, you are in charge of the entire humanity. It is what it is. And like doctor said, they tell you, don't worry. The FDA has approved it. The EFSA, they signed off. NAFDAC said no problem. You're right. The Nigerian Biosafety Management Agency gave a green light. Do whatever you want, they say. But here is the ugly truth. And you know it. Our regulators in Nigeria are outgunned. They are poor people, outfinanced, sometimes compromised because they need the little money to feed their families and their soul. Shame on poverty. Regulations are often recommendations whispered through budded windows. There are no long-term studies at all. on the generational effects of GMO consumption on Africa's microbiomes. None, not even one. No epidemiological surveillance. We are experiments. Our children are the lab rats. Look at what they are feeding us today. Are you happy? Synthetic food, synthetic meat, synthetic everything. Like I said, I would have just kept quiet. But I said no. I said no. I have to give my voice to this. And as the chief priest of all living ancestors, all I can assure you today is that it is not too late for us to take action. As a nation and as a people, we must, as a matter of urgency, enforce GMO labeling on all food shelves in Nigeria. You must know what you are eating. If nature does not make it, do not eat it. We must establish GMO-free zones far from ancestral seed plots. So if you like GMO, go and do your GMO. Leave our local farmers with our local seeds. No problem, right? So if you love GMO, because I know Nigerians, we are so gullible. Very soon you will hear, give me GMO egusi. I need GMO suya. Give me GMO chicken. You don't even know what you are eating. So if you want to eat GMO, we don't want to stop you. Go and eat your GMO, but leave the rest of us the hell alone. We must demand independent research, not the ones funded by Monsanto and its affiliates. Independent research. And most importantly, we must educate our farmers, not with corporate flyers, but with community knowledge, translated into our every native language, from Kano to Calabar, from Borno to Kaduna, from Enugu State to Oyo, from Imo State to Abia, everywhere around the country, they must be educated to know what to do, how to farm, what they are farming, what seed that they are using. Because at the end, the seeds are not just food, they are our memory. They are our culture. A time folded into protein served on our dining table. And to tamper with them is to tamper with our inheritance. It is to tamper with our lives. Nigerians, we must choose whether to feed our children from our soil, or we feed them from synthetic hands of strangers who call it science, but sow dependency. I am warning. Not every gift you receive from the West is a miracle. Some of them are a seeds of servitude. And here is my final thought. As a chief priest of all living ancestors, GMO technology itself is not inherently evil. Don't get me wrong. But when it is tied to monopolized seed, when GMOs are tied to monopolized seed markets, aggressive chemical use, suppressed research, and inadequate regulation, it becomes a public health risk. You must know that. The danger isn't just in the seed, but in the whole system. And I'm glad you have stayed this long to listen to me. If I have said something that you don't like, please leave me a comment. Like I said, I'm not here for a fight. If we want to talk about GMO, we will talk about it all day. It's a lot of things, interconnected web of informations about GMO. But we don't have that kind of time. You can do your own independent research and make up your own mind. And if your conscience isn't rattled yet about what is going on, give it a time. Truth has a way of crawling under the skin. You know that. But please do me a favor. Follow us here on X. It will cost you nothing, but it will mean everything to us. We are just starting this channel. We want to be able to bring you this message unfiltered every time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are just getting started. Please And we want to be able to get every information from the source and leave it for you to make up your mind, unfiltered. Straight from the heartland of the greatest country on earth. This is our beloved Nigeria, and we must make it work. On this sanctuary of truth, we will continue to keep them honest. I will see you on the next episode. If there's anything you want me to talk about, please kindly let me know. Until then, stay alert, stay awake, and for the love of this country, I want you to stay dangerous. Do not let anyone gaslight you into quietness. Don't let it happen. A new Nigeria is possible.